One bullied as a child, the silent struggle that shaped a genius. Before he became a billionaire, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, and one of the most visionary minds of the 21st century, Elon Musk was just a skinny, introverted boy growing up in South Africa. Few people know that his childhood wasn't filled with happiness, but rather years of darkness, both physical and emotional pain, caused by relentless bullying at school. The isolation, violence, and loneliness didn't just leave scars on Musk. They became silent forces that pushed him to become the resilient, driven man the world knows today. Born in Pretoria, South Africa in 1971, Elon Musk was a different kind of child, incredibly intelligent, curious, and deeply imaginative. He spent most of his time reading books and living in his own world, instead of playing sports or socializing like other kids. Elon was drawn to science fiction, encyclopedias, and computers. He taught himself programming and wrote his first software, a space-themed game called Blaster, at the age of 12, selling it for $500. But his brilliance and uniqueness made him a target. In a school culture that valued physical toughness, a quiet, bookish kid like Elon was easy prey. He became the victim of brutal bullying, not just verbal taunts, but serious physical abuse. He has recounted being beaten so badly by a group of boys that he had to be hospitalized. One incident involved him being thrown down a flight of stairs and then beaten until he lost consciousness. One of the most painful memories Musk has shared is about being attacked in front of his best friend, who later stopped speaking to him out of fear. As Musk put it, "If you're being bullied every day, you can't really escape it." In such an environment, Elon felt completely isolated. Even at home, life wasn't much better. His parents divorced when he was young, and Musk later described his father as a terrible human being. He has spoken about the emotional abuse he endured, saying that living with his dad was one of the worst experiences of his life. He had no safe place to turn. But within that darkness, a light started to grow, the light of resilience and intellectual hunger. With no one to lean on, Musk found refuge in books. He was especially drawn to science fiction and big ideas, reading titles like The Foundation series by Isaac Asimov and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. These stories didn't just entertain him, they gave him a sense of possibility, a belief that technology could be used to solve humanity's biggest problems. As a teenager, Musk began dreaming of leaving South Africa, which he viewed as violent and limited. He was determined to go to America, a country he believed was the land of big ideas and greater freedom. That dream was no small task. He faced challenges with money, immigration processes, and logistics, but his resolve never wavered. He eventually made it to Canada, then later transferred to the University of Pennsylvania in the US, opening a new chapter of his life. As an adult, Musk has been open about the impact of his childhood trauma. He says that being bullied made him mentally tougher and gave him the grit to endure extreme pressure, something he would need time and time again, while building companies that the world thought would fail. Because of his early pain, he developed an internal drive that no external approval or criticism could shake. Without those experiences, it's possible Musk wouldn't have developed his ability to handle fear, think independently, and push through adversity. The same resolve that helped him survive his childhood would later help him survive multiple near bankruptcies at Tesla and SpaceX. Public criticism and the constant stress of managing world-changing companies. He has said, "I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." That belief didn't come from comfort. It came from knowing what it feels like to be at the bottom and deciding to rise anyway. Musk's childhood experience is more than just a sad backstory. It's a defining part of what shaped his worldview. It shows us that even deep emotional wounds can become fuel for greatness. When someone turns pain into purpose, the results can be extraordinary. Elon Musk's story reminds us that some of the strongest people in the world are not those who were never hurt, but those who turned hurt into strength. His journey proves that you don't have to be born a genius or come from privilege to change the world. You just need relentless curiosity, brutal honesty, and a refusal to give up when life pushes you down. 2. Elon Musk. Betting it all after selling PayPal. When Elon Musk sold PayPal in 2002 and walked away with about $180 million, most people assumed he'd retire, buy a yacht, enjoy a luxurious lifestyle, or at the very least, invest conservatively. Like many other millionaires, but Musk chose a path very few would dare take. He bet nearly all of his fortune not on one, but on 3 risky startups. That decision almost left him broke. And yet that very moment of going all in laid the foundation for what would become Tesla, SpaceX, and Solar City, 3 companies that are now shaping the future of humanity. After leaving PayPal, Musk had no intention of relaxing. Despite having enormous wealth, he wasn't satisfied being just a passive investor. Instead, he started thinking seriously about the world's biggest problems and how to solve them. In interviews, he said that he asked himself, what are some of the things that will most affect the future of humanity in a positive way? The answer led him to 3 areas: space exploration, sustainable energy, and clean transportation. From that point forward, Musk decided to devote his time, energy, and nearly all his money to those fields by launching SpaceX, Tesla Motors, and Solar City, betting on SpaceX. Musk founded SpaceX in 2002 with the goal of dramatically reducing the cost of launching rockets and ultimately making life multiplanetary. At the time, the idea of privatizing space travel was considered laughable. Most people believed that only governments had the resources and expertise to launch rockets, but Musk didn't agree. He poured tens of millions of dollars of his own money into the company from day one. When the first 3 launches of SpaceX's Falcon 1 rocket all failed, the company was on the brink of collapse. In 2008, with just one last launch attempt worth of funding left, Musk knew that if the 4th try failed, SpaceX would be finished. Fortunately, that 4th launch succeeded and it changed everything. Betting on Tesla. In 2004, Musk became heavily involved with Tesla Motors, a young startup with a bold idea to build high-performance electric cars. At that time, most people saw electric vehicles as slow, impractical, and expensive. Musk not only invested millions, but also immersed himself in the company's operations, helping design and engineer the cars. Tesla also came dangerously close to bankruptcy more than once. The most severe crisis hit in 2008 during the global financial meltdown. Musk had to invest tens of millions more of his own money to keep the company afloat and continue production on the Model S. At one point, he even had to borrow money to pay his own rent because nearly every dollar he had was tied up in his companies. Betting on Solar City. Not stopping at rockets and cars. Musk also turned his attention to clean energy. He backed Solar City, a solar energy company founded by his cousins, but guided by Musk's vision and funding. The mission was to reduce the world's reliance on fossil fuels and make solar power accessible to the masses. Although Musk didn't run Solar City day to day, he was its chairman and poured millions into its growth, again using his personal wealth. On the brink of going broke. By late 2008, things were looking grim. Both SpaceX and Tesla were bleeding money and facing collapse. Musk described that time as one of the darkest periods of his life. He had a gut-wrenching decision to make: keep the remaining money for himself and let one or both companies die, or divide what little he had left and try to save them both. He chose the latter. He split his last remaining funds between Tesla and SpaceX, effectively risking everything. His personal finances were in dire straits. Musk had to borrow money from friends just to cover basic expenses. Media outlets mocked him. Investors lost confidence. Some even called him finished. Then a miracle happened. In December 2008, just in time, NASA awarded SpaceX a $16 billion contract, saving the company and validating Musk's vision. Around the same time, Tesla secured critical funding to stay alive. Solar City continued expanding and would eventually be merged into Tesla's energy division, a crazy decision that changed the world. To outsiders, Musk's decision to bet everything after PayPal seemed reckless, maybe even insane. But to Musk, it was a reflection of his deep commitment to solving big problems. He wasn't trying to get richer. He was trying to make the world better. And he was willing to sacrifice his entire fortune to make that happen. He didn't just invest his money. He invested his reputation, health, and peace of mind. He worked 100-hour weeks, slept on factory floors, and endured enormous pressure while building companies that most thought were doomed to fail. Now the results speak for themselves. Tesla has become the most valuable car company in the world. SpaceX is the first private company to send astronauts into orbit. Solar City, now part of Tesla Energy, continues to push solar power into the mainstream. First launch. Failure with a hint of promise. On March 24, 2006. SpaceX launched Falcon 1 for the first time from a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. This was a historic moment, one of the earliest serious attempts by a private company to send a rocket into orbit. But just 29 seconds after liftoff, the rocket's engine caught fire due to a fuel leak, causing it to spin out of control and crash into the ocean. Despite the failure, Musk remained optimistic. He called it a valuable learning experience, reminding everyone that rocket science is unforgiving and failure is part of the process. Second launch, still a no-go. Just over a year later, in March 2007, SpaceX tried again. This time the rocket flew further, but it still failed to reach orbit due to a problem during stage separation. The pressure started building. While Musk maintained a confident face and public anxiety was rising inside the company. They were burning through cash and time, and critics were circling like vultures. Third launch, so close. Yet another failure. On August 3, 2008, Falcon 1 attempted its third launch. Hopes were high. The team had made improvements. The countdown went smoothly, and the rocket lifted off perfectly. Everything seemed to be working. But then during stage separation, a tiny mistake ruined everything. The first and second stages bumped into each other due to leftover thrust. Knocking the rocket off its path, it spiraled out of control and once again crashed into the ocean. 3 launches, 3 failures, and now SpaceX was on the brink of collapse, on the edge of bankruptcy. After the third failure, Musk had poured nearly every dollar he had into SpaceX. The company had enough money for one more launch, just one. If it failed, it wouldn't just mean the end of SpaceX, but possibly the end of Musk's dream of space exploration. At the same time, Tesla was also struggling, facing its own financial crisis. Elon Musk, once a multi-millionaire, was borrowing money from friends just to pay his rent. He was sleeping on the Tesla factory floor, working 100-hour weeks, juggling 2 companies on the verge of collapse. The media mocked him. Investors called him reckless. Experts said his companies were doomed, and yet he refused to give up. Musk believed in the SpaceX. He believed in his engineers, And most of all, he believed that pushing the boundaries of science and human achievement was worth the risk, even if it meant losing everything. Fourth launch. One shot that changed history. On September 28, 2008, SpaceX attempted its fourth and final launch of Falcon 1. The stakes were higher than ever. Everyone in the company, and Musk himself, knew this was do or die. This time, the rocket flew. It lifted off, separated cleanly, and successfully reached orbit, making history as the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket to reach Earth orbit. Cheers erupted. Some engineers cried. Others just collapsed with relief. They had done it against all odds. That success didn't just save SpaceX, it saved Musk's dream. Soon after, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. It was a massive vote of confidence and gave the company the stability it needed to grow. Today, SpaceX is a global leader in aerospace innovation. It's the first private company to launch astronauts into space. It's developing the Starship to go to Mars. And it all came down to that fourth launch. Musk's story with SpaceX proves a powerful lesson. Real success often lies just beyond repeated failure. Many people give up after one setback. Some may keep going after two, but almost no one keeps pushing after 3 catastrophic failures, especially when the world is watching and doubting. Elon Musk did. And in doing so, he didn't just save a company, he changed the future of space travel. For Tesla, nearly went bankrupt, the untold struggle behind the electric revolution. Today, Tesla is known as the world's most valuable car company, a symbol of innovation and sustainability with cutting-edge electric vehicles that are redefining transportation. But what most people forget or never knew is that just over a decade ago, Tesla was on the brink of bankruptcy. The story of how Elon Musk pulled the company back from the edge isn't just about business. It's about obsession, sacrifice, and raw determination. Founded in 2003 by a group of engineers with a bold dream to prove that electric vehicles could be better than gasoline-powered cars. Tesla started as a niche startup. Elon Musk joined early as the lead investor, eventually taking on the role of CEO and becoming the face of the company. But building an EV from scratch was no small feat. And the challenges came fast and hard. The Roadster ambition meets reality. Tesla's first car. The Roadster was ambitious, a sleek, all-electric sports car built on a Lotus chassis that could go from 0 to 60 mph in under 4 seconds. It was meant to shatter the stereotype that electric cars were slow, ugly, and boring. But behind the scenes, the Roadster's development was a nightmare. Engineering problems piled up, costs skyrocketed, suppliers were unreliable. The company missed deadlines again and again. Early models had defects that required extensive rework. What was supposed to be a $65,000 car ballooned in cost. By the time Tesla was ready to ship the Roadster in 2008, the per-unit cost was so high that every sale lost money. At the same time, the global financial crisis hit, banks stopped lending, investors froze, and Tesla was burning cash at an unsustainable rate. Elon Musk's last dollars. By late 2008, Tesla was weeks, maybe days away from total collapse. Employees didn't know if they'd get paid. Key engineers were being poached by competitors. The board was pressuring Musk to abandon ship. Elon Musk had already poured nearly all of his fortune from PayPal into Tesla, SpaceX, and SolarCity. But he wasn't done yet. With both Tesla and SpaceX facing simultaneous crises, Musk made a now legendary decision. He split his remaining money between the two companies, betting that both could be saved if they just held on a little longer. And to cover his own personal expenses, Musk had to borrow money from friends. He sold everything, liquidating stocks, real estate, and personal assets to keep Tesla alive. He famously slept on the factory floor, working night and day with his team to push production and solve problems. In an interview years later, he recalled, "I was completely broke. I had to make a choice. Let Tesla die or invest every last cent I had. I chose to bet on Tesla." A Christmas miracle. Then came the break. On December 24th, 2008, Christmas Eve, Tesla closed a $40 million round of emergency funding just hours before it would have missed payroll. It was a literal Christmas miracle. The deal saved Tesla, bought it more time, and gave Elon and his team the chance to prove their vision. The survival of Tesla wasn't just about money. It was about belief. Elon Musk believed that the world needed a sustainable energy future and that electric vehicles were central to that mission. While many investors saw only risk, Musk saw a future that was worth fighting for. Production hell. Even after surviving that financial disaster, Tesla's challenges were far from over. In 2017, when the company was ramping up production for the Model 3, Elon described the process as production hell. Tesla was trying to automate the entire assembly line, build a new battery gigafactory, and scale up manufacturing all at once. The result: massive delays, defective vehicles, overworked staff, and an exhausted CEO. Musk later admitted he had pushed for too much automation too fast. At one point, Tesla was losing hundreds of millions of dollars per quarter. Again, bankruptcy loomed. But once more, Musk refused to quit. He simplified the production process, slept at the factory, hand-inspected cars, and worked with engineers directly to fix bottlenecks. Slowly but surely, Tesla stabilized. Model 3 production increased. Deliveries improved, and eventually the company posted its first profitable quarters. The turning point. By 2020, Tesla's stock skyrocketed. Institutional investors finally saw what early believers had seen all along. Tesla wasn't just a car company. It was a tech company, an energy company, and a movement. With gigafactories around the world, self-driving software, and an expanding product line, Tesla emerged from the ashes of near failure as a global powerhouse. Elon Musk, who had once been mocked and doubted, became the world's richest man, at times largely thanks to his stake in Tesla. But for Musk, the money was never the goal. In interviews, he has said, "Starting Tesla was not because I thought this was a way to make money. I thought it was a way to make a difference." Lessons from the brink. Tesla's near bankruptcy teaches us more than any success story could. It's a reminder that great ideas are worthless without execution. Innovation requires painful sacrifices. Belief in a mission is what sustains people when everything else falls apart. And sometimes you have to risk everything to build something truly revolutionary. The world almost never saw the Tesla we know today. And it would have been easy rational even for Elon Musk to walk away, but he didn't. Because for him, Tesla wasn't just a company, it was a cause. And causes, especially those that aim to change the world, are worth risking it all. For 5, relentless criticism from media and investors. How Elon Musk faced the doubt. If there's one thing that defines Elon Musk's journey besides innovation and risk-taking, it's this. He was doubted, criticized, and mocked constantly. From the earliest days of Tesla and SpaceX, through to their rise as global tech giants, Musk had to battle not just engineering challenges and financial disasters, but also a relentless wave of public and investor skepticism. While most CEOs try to maintain friendly ties with media outlets and please Wall Street, Musk did the opposite. He challenged assumptions, disrupted powerful industries, and refused to play by the rules. And in return, the media and investors came after him hard. The media's love-hate relationship with Musk. In the early 2000s, Musk was still a relatively unknown entrepreneur, but as he started to pour his PayPal fortune into crazy ventures, electric cars, and private rockets, the media began to take notice, and not in a flattering way. Articles labeled him reckless, arrogant, or worse, delusional. Headlines questioned his sanity. Is Elon Musk the next Howard Hughes, or just another tech dreamer? Tesla, the car company that will never succeed. Mainstream journalists mocked the idea that a startup could compete with Ford, GM, or Chrysler. They laughed at the notion that a tech entrepreneur with no aerospace background could send rockets into orbit, let alone Mars. The skepticism wasn't just harsh, it was personal. When Musk publicly committed to bold deadlines or ambitious goals, reporters were quick to tear him apart when those deadlines weren't met. His tweets were scrutinized, his statements taken out of context, his failures splashed across headlines, while his successes were often dismissed as luck. Wall Street's cold shoulder. If the media was skeptical, Wall Street was brutal. Tesla was one of the most shorted stocks in history. Investors bet billions that the company would fail. Some hedge fund managers called Tesla a fraud, comparing it to Theranos, or calling it a car company dressed up like a tech stock. Many believed Musk was a hype machine, pumping ideas with no real substance. Every quarter, analysts grilled Musk during earnings calls. They demanded predictable results, smooth operations, and traditional metrics of success. Musk, who was building something entirely new, couldn't deliver that kind of comfort. Instead of playing along, he often clashed with analysts, once even calling a question boring and boneheaded on a live call. These reactions only fueled more criticism. Tesla's stock swung wildly. Negative analyst notes made headlines. Even as the company was pushing out record-breaking EVs, doubts persisted. Can Tesla survive the competition? Is Musk losing control? Twitter emotions and public scrutiny. Musk's own personality sometimes made things worse. He's emotional, he tweets late at night, he speaks bluntly, and he doesn't hide frustration with journalists or investors. While some admire that raw honesty, others saw it as dangerous. One infamous example came in 2018 when Musk tweeted that he was considering taking Tesla private at $420 per share, adding funding secured. That tweet sparked a firestorm. The SEC sued Musk, forcing him to step down as chairman and pay millions in fines. The media framed it as proof that he was unstable. Investors panicked. Tesla's stock plummeted again. Musk later admitted that he was under immense stress, sleeping just a few hours a night and struggling with burnout. But instead of sympathy, he got more criticism. Why the doubt didn't break him? Despite all of this, Musk never stopped. He didn't back down from reporters. He didn't water down his vision to soothe investors. He kept building. He kept risking. He kept tweeting. Why? Because Musk doesn't seek approval. He seeks results. He once said, "I don't care if nobody believes in me. I believe in the mission. That's enough." In many ways, the criticism made him stronger. It forced Tesla and SpaceX to prove themselves not just through words, but through real, measurable accomplishments. When SpaceX launched reusable rockets, the world took notice. When Tesla Model 3 broke sales records, the critics got quiet. When profits finally came, even the harshest analysts had to rethink their stance, turning doubt into dominance. Today, many of the same publications that once laughed at Musk now write glowing profiles. Investors who once shorted Tesla now regret it, and analysts have changed their tone from "if Tesla survives" to "how far can it go?" But Musk hasn't forgotten. He still calls out bias in the media. He still challenges Wall Street logic. He still tweets things that shake markets, because for him, criticism was never the problem. It was part of the process. What we can learn. Elon Musk's ability to withstand years of public doubt and investor pressure is a powerful lesson for anyone pursuing a bold vision. If you're doing something truly new, people won't get it at first. The louder your mission, the louder the criticism. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself and be relentless. Musk could have compromised. He could have slowed down. He could have played the PR game and chased market comfort, but then we wouldn't have Tesla. We wouldn't have reusable rockets. We wouldn't have a world on the edge of sustainable transformation. And that's the difference between the world's loudest doubters and the people who actually build the future. 6. Mental and physical strain. The hidden cost of Elon Musk's success. When we think of Elon Musk, we often picture the billionaire innovator, the genius behind Tesla and SpaceX, or the man casually talking about colonizing Mars. What we don't always see is the toll that kind of ambition takes on a person. Behind the success, headlines, and staggering net worth lies a lesser-known story. The enormous mental and physical pressure Musk has endured for years to build the future. For most of his career, Musk has worked 80 to 100 hours per week, sometimes even more. Unlike many CEOs who delegate and distance themselves from day-to-day operations, Musk is deeply hands-on, often involving himself in product development, engineering decisions, and even customer service. His obsession with detail, combined with the scale of his vision, has driven him to push harder than most humans ever would. But it hasn't come without a cost: the mental strain of building the impossible. During a 2018 interview with the New York Times, Musk opened up about the darkest period of his life. He admitted that he was working 120-hour weeks and spending nights on the Tesla factory floor. He said, "This past year has been the most difficult and painful year of my career." He described days where he didn't leave the factory for 3 or 4 nights straight, running on little to no sleep, surviving only on caffeine and adrenaline. His stress was so intense that friends became seriously concerned for his health. He would skip meals, lose weight, and even cry during interviews. Tesla was going through what Musk called production hell, the chaotic ramp-up of the Model 3 production line. Every delay, defect, or missed target was blamed squarely on Musk. Investors were angry. Critics were relentless. Short sellers were betting billions that Tesla would collapse. At one point, he admitted, "There were times when I didn't think we would survive." This kind of pressure would be debilitating to most people, and it nearly broke Musk too. Isolation at the top. With success comes visibility, and with visibility comes scrutiny. Musk's every word, tweet, and facial expression is analyzed by the media and investors alike. This constant spotlight has made him feel isolated even while being one of the most recognized figures on Earth. He has openly said that he struggles with loneliness, especially during the hardest stretches of his career. Despite leading companies with thousands of employees, Musk has shared that he often felt like he had no one to talk to who could truly understand the level of pressure he faced. In one of his most vulnerable admissions, he said, "Sometimes I just want someone to be with me, even if it's just holding my hand while I sleep." That level of honesty from a figure as stoic and driven as Musk reveals something we all need to remember. No amount of success protects a person from emotional pain, physical burnout, and sleep deprivation. It wasn't just mental stress. Musk's physical health also took a beating. He frequently slept on the floors of Tesla and SpaceX factories, not in a private room or executive suite, but on a couch or under his desk, wearing the same clothes for days. He did it to be close to the action, to motivate his team, and to show he wasn't above the grind. But over time, the lack of sleep, poor nutrition, and relentless pace began to wear him down. He showed signs of chronic fatigue, and his appearance visibly changed during high-stress periods. His voice became hoarser, his speech slower. In interviews, he sometimes looked like he was just barely holding it together, and still he kept going. Because in Musk's mind, the mission always came first, even before his own well-being. Coping with criticism and controversy. Musk isn't just building companies, he's constantly defending them. He's faced lawsuits, government investigations, shareholder revolts, and media smear campaigns. Every decision is met with intense scrutiny. Even offhanded tweets have cost him tens of millions in fines and led to legal battles with the SEC. All of this adds to the psychological burden. He once said that if people truly understood the emotional weight he carries every day, they wouldn't want to be me. While his vision may seem exhilarating to outsiders, for Musk, it's often exhausting and deeply personal. The personal toll beyond the boardroom and launchpad. Musk's personal life has also felt the impact. He's been through multiple divorces and has admitted that balancing relationships with his demanding work schedule is extremely difficult. In interviews, Musk has said that he wishes he could spend more time with his children, but often can't because of his overwhelming responsibilities. He missed birthdays. He sacrificed vacations, he lost friends and romantic partners to the lifestyle he chose. Some might see that as the price of greatness. But for Musk, it's not about glory, it's about purpose. He once said, "If something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it." And that belief has kept him going even when his health, mind, and emotions have been pushed to the brink. What this means for us. Elon Musk's story of mental and physical pressure isn't meant to glorify overwork. In fact, it's a cautionary tale. Yes, ambition and perseverance can lead to extraordinary outcomes, but they can also lead to burnout, isolation, and emotional breakdowns if left unchecked. The lesson is this: success doesn't come easy, and sometimes it demands more than we imagine. Even the strongest people break under pressure. Mental health matters no matter how brilliant or powerful you are. Elon Musk has shown the world what's possible when you push past limits. But he's also shown us that behind every headline and product launch, there's a human being carrying a heavy load, often in silence. 7. Clashing with the SEC, Elon Musk's most public legal battle. Elon Musk has never been afraid to speak his mind, whether it's criticizing billionaires, joking about Mars, or live tweeting major business decisions. His public persona is bold, unfiltered, and often unpredictable. But in August 2018, that unapologetic communication style landed him in serious legal trouble with none other than the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. This wasn't just a PR misstep. It became a full-blown federal investigation, a billion-dollar stock swing, and a moment that nearly cost Musk his position as CEO of Tesla. It also revealed the delicate balance between transparency, leadership, and legal responsibility in the modern world of tech entrepreneurship. Funding secured. The tweet heard around Wall Street. On August 7, 2018, Elon Musk tweeted, "Am considering taking Tesla private at $420, funding secured." Those 9 words shook the financial world. Tesla's stock price skyrocketed 11% in a matter of hours. Investors were stunned. Analysts were confused. Was this real? Was Musk serious? And if so, who was providing the funding? Within minutes, major media outlets ran with the story. Some praised the boldness, others questioned the legality. Meanwhile, Tesla employees, board members, and shareholders were left completely in the dark. It turned out Musk had spoken with Saudi Arabia's public investment fund about potentially taking Tesla private, but no official agreement had been reached. The statement funding secured was at best premature, and at worst misleading. The SEC gets involved. The SEC quickly launched an investigation into whether Musk's tweet had manipulated Tesla's stock price and misled investors. On September 27, 2018, the SEC officially filed a lawsuit against Musk, accusing him of securities fraud. According to the complaint, Musk had not secured funding, had not consulted Tesla's board, and had made a material misstatement that caused massive volatility in the market. They sought to bar him from serving as an officer or director of any public company. The move stunned the business world. The thought of Tesla losing Musk as CEO sent shockwaves through investors. Tesla's stock dropped sharply. Critics called for his removal. Supporters rallied behind him. Settlement and consequences. Just 2 days later, on September 29, 2018, Musk settled with the SEC. The terms were tough. Musk would step down as chairman of Tesla for at least 3 years. He and Tesla would each pay a $20 million fine. Tesla had to appoint 2 new independent board members. Musk had to agree to pre-approval of certain tweets and public statements that could affect Tesla's stock. While Musk avoided criminal charges and kept his role as CEO, the settlement was a public and personal blow. In classic Musk fashion, however, he didn't go quietly. Just days after the settlement, he tweeted, "SEC stands for Short Seller Enrichment Commission." That tweet reignited media controversy and showed Musk's defiance toward regulators who, in his view, weren't protecting investors, but empowering those betting against Tesla. The broader impact. The SEC clash became a defining moment not just for Musk, but for how social media and corporate leadership intersect in the 21st century. Traditionally, CEOs communicate through press releases, official filings, and carefully crafted statements. Musk, on the other hand, treats Twitter like a digital notebook, often blurting out ideas in real time to his millions of followers. To Musk, it's transparency. To regulators, it's chaos. The incident forced public companies and tech leaders to reconsider how they engage with the public and how much a single tweet can move markets. It also reminded the world that being a visionary doesn't exempt you from the law. What drove the tweet behind the drama was a deeper issue: pressure. At the time of the tweet, Musk was under extreme stress. Tesla was in the middle of its painful Model 3 production ramp. Investors were nervous. Short sellers were betting heavily against the company. Musk later admitted he was sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night, working 100+ hours a week, and feeling desperate to take Tesla out of the public spotlight so he could focus on long-term goals instead of quarterly reports. In his own words, the reason for taking Tesla private is all about creating an environment for Tesla to operate best. It wasn't just a financial move, it was a psychological escape from scrutiny, pressure, and market manipulation. Redemption and reflection. Despite the SEC battle, Tesla emerged stronger. Musk remained CEO. The company hit production targets. Profits returned. Tesla's stock surged in the years that followed, turning Musk into the world's richest person at times. The tweet didn't destroy Tesla. It arguably made it more resilient. Musk, too, seems to have learned from the experience. While he still tweets frequently and provocatively, he's been more cautious, at least when it comes to financial disclosures. In a rare moment of reflection, Musk later said, "I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But everything I've done has been with the intent of moving humanity forward." Lessons from the SEC. Saga, Elon Musk's clash with the SEC, is more than just a legal case. It's a story about the growing power and risk of social media in business, the thin line between transparency and recklessness, the emotional toll of leading at the edge of innovation, the importance of balancing vision with accountability. Musk's mistake was real, but so was his conviction. He didn't lie to get rich. He made a risky call under pressure for what he believed was the long-term good of Tesla. The system responded. And in the end, both Musk and Tesla survived and thrived. 8. No one believed in him. How Elon Musk turned doubt into destiny. Before Elon Musk became one of the most influential entrepreneurs of the 21st century, before the rocket launches and electric vehicles, before becoming the richest person in the world, almost no one believed in him. Not the auto industry, not the aerospace community, not the investors, not even many of his peers in Silicon Valley. And yet, in the face of overwhelming skepticism and constant dismissal, Elon Musk pushed forward, driven not by the need for approval, but by the strength of his convictions. The auto industry laughed at Tesla. When Musk first became involved with Tesla Motors in the early 2000s, the idea of an electric car company competing with the likes of Ford, General Motors, or Toyota seemed absurd. At the time, electric vehicles were seen as clunky, slow, and niche. Major automakers had either abandoned EV programs or treated them like marketing gimmicks. Industry experts dismissed Tesla as a rich man's toy or a vanity project for environmentalists. They argued that battery technology would never be scalable or cost-effective enough to build affordable electric cars. Even when Tesla launched the high-performance Roadster, critics called it a novelty, unsustainable, and overpriced. Auto executives scoffed at the idea that a startup could enter one of the most capital-intensive, regulated, and complex industries in the world and win. Yet Musk believed he saw not just a market opportunity, but a moral obligation to accelerate the shift to sustainable energy, and he was willing to be laughed at, ignored, and doubted to make it happen. SpaceX. Even NASA didn't believe. If the auto world thought Musk was delusional, the aerospace industry thought he was insane. When Musk founded SpaceX in 2002, the idea of a private company building orbital rockets was unthinkable. Aerospace had long been the domain of government's defense contractors and billion-dollar budgets. NASA engineers scoffed at the idea that a group of techies from California could compete. Early on, Musk tried to hire top aerospace talent. Many refused. Some openly mocked the idea, saying things like, "You'll never launch anything. You have no experience. This is a joke." Even after SpaceX built its first rocket, Falcon 1, and attempted launches, the failures only reinforced the skepticism. 3 rockets in a row failed. Critics were vindicated. "We told you this would never work." But Musk kept going. He poured more money, time, and belief into SpaceX, and on the 4th try, the rocket reached orbit, making history as the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket to do so. That success didn't just save SpaceX, it shattered the belief that only governments could lead in space. Investors walked away. Musk's vision required massive capital, but unlike trendy startups in social media or software, his companies needed factories, machines, engineers, hardware, logistics, and billions in upfront costs. In investor meetings, many saw Musk's passion as irrational risk-taking. They viewed Tesla and SpaceX as financial black holes. "You're too ambitious. The market isn't ready. There's no proof this can work." Even in 2008, when both companies were on the brink of bankruptcy, very few were willing to fund him. He was forced to pour in the last of his PayPal fortune just to keep the doors open. When everyone else turned away, he bet everything on himself. Isolation and personal sacrifice. Beyond business. Elon Musk has often been an outsider. He has an unconventional communication style. He's blunt, emotional, sometimes erratic. He doesn't sugarcoat. He challenges authority. He works like a machine and expects others to do the same. These traits don't always win friends or allies. Over the years, Musk has admitted that he's lost friends, damaged relationships, and often feels alone at the top. "It's very difficult to be Elon Musk's friend," one associate said. Even his partners and co-founders have split with him at times due to his intensity and demands. When he talks about the emotional toll, Musk is surprisingly candid. "I didn't have a happy childhood. I don't have many close relationships, but I believe in what I'm doing. And that's enough. The fuel behind the fire. For most people, being doubted would be a reason to quit. For Musk, it became fuel. Every time someone said he couldn't, he went out and proved that he could. Every time he was dismissed, he doubled down. Every no became a challenge. Every rejection made him work harder. He didn't need the world's approval. He needed the world to change. And slowly, piece by piece, that's exactly what happened. Tesla proved electric cars could be fast, beautiful, and profitable. SpaceX broke the monopoly on space travel and launched astronauts into orbit. Starlink, Neuralink. The Boring Company each started as an impossible idea met with laughter and built anyway. What we can learn. Elon Musk's journey reminds us that true belief doesn't wait for validation. If you have a mission, one that matters, you have to be willing to walk alone at first. You have to be comfortable with doubt, rejection, and being misunderstood. Some people won't believe in you. Some will think you're crazy. Some will hope you fail. But none of that matters if you believe in yourself. Because in the end, belief isn't about convincing others. It's about being so committed that their disbelief becomes irrelevant. 9. Enormous technological risks. How Elon Musk bets on the impossible. When people look at Elon Musk's success today, they often focus on the rockets, the cars, the headlines, and the billions. But what often gets overlooked is the insane level of technological risk he takes repeatedly. Musk doesn't just build businesses. He bets on things most experts say are impossible decades away or guaranteed to fail, where others play it safe. Elon Musk dives headfirst into some of the most complex, expensive, and failure-prone technologies in human history. And he doesn't just take those risks for profit. He does it to solve problems he believes are critical to humanity's future. Rockets that land themselves. Building rockets is already hard. Building reusable rockets that launch into space and land back on Earth like science fiction. That's the kind of idea that gets laughed out of the room. But Musk believed that the only way to dramatically reduce the cost of space travel was to reuse rockets just like airplanes. When he proposed the idea of Falcon 9's first stage booster landing upright, even seasoned aerospace engineers thought it was impossible. The early tests were spectacular failures. Rockets exploded, landings missed. Media outlets had a field day with each crash. Critics said this will never work. He's wasting billions. This isn't science, it's ego. But Musk kept pushing. His team at SpaceX iterated relentlessly, learning from every failure, and in 2015, for the first time, a SpaceX rocket successfully landed vertically on Earth after delivering a payload to space. It was a turning point not just for the company, but for the entire space industry. Today, reusable rockets are the norm at SpaceX, and they've revolutionized space economics, reinventing the car with software. The car industry hadn't changed much in 100 years until Tesla came along. When Musk invested in and later led Tesla, the idea of building an electric car was already risky. But Elon didn't just want to build an EV. He wanted to build a car that ran almost entirely on software, used over-the-air updates, and would eventually drive itself. Traditional automakers called it unrealistic. Silicon Valley insiders were skeptical too. Automotive software was notoriously unreliable, and building cars at scale was something no startup had pulled off in decades. But Musk insisted on full vertical integration. Tesla would design its own chips, write its own code, and control every part of the vehicle. Experience something no car company had ever done. The result, Tesla created the most software-centric vehicles in the world, turning cars into computers on wheels. It took years of risk, billions of dollars, and endless ridicule. But now every automaker is racing to catch up. Brain chips and human-AI symbiosis. In 2016, Musk founded Neuralink, a company focused on building a brain-computer interface, a chip that can be implanted into the human brain to help cure diseases, restore movement, and eventually merge human intelligence with artificial intelligence. To many, this was where Musk officially crossed into mad scientist territory. Critics called it dystopian, dangerous, and far-fetched. Scientists warned of massive ethical, medical, and regulatory hurdles. But Musk argued that AI was progressing so rapidly that humans would soon be left behind unless we found a way to integrate with it. Rather than fear AI, Musk chose to create a pathway toward coexistence. Neuralink has already demonstrated brain chip technology in pigs and monkeys, and in 2024 it received FDA approval for its first human trials. The work is still early, but the ambition is massive to reshape the future of medicine and cognition. Underground tunnels to solve traffic. In 2016, stuck in Los Angeles traffic, Musk tweeted, "Traffic is driving me nuts. I am going to build a tunnel, boring machine, and just start digging." People thought he was joking. He wasn't. That tweet led to the founding of the Boring Company, which aims to reduce urban congestion by building underground transportation tunnels. The idea, high-speed, low-cost, city-to-city, or even intra-city tunnels where Teslas can travel without stoplights, pedestrians, or traffic jams. Tunneling is notoriously expensive and slow. Traditional methods haven't improved much in decades, but Musk set out to revolutionize digging itself, creating custom boring machines, optimizing tunnel width, and cutting costs. It's a classic Musk move. Take a boring industry, literally, and inject radical thinking, automation, and risk. The price of big bets. All of these projects involve massive technological risk. They cost billions. They face failure at every turn. They require expertise across dozens of fields: mechanical engineering, AI software, biology, urban planning. Most people wouldn't risk their reputations, fortunes, or sanity on even one of these things. Elon Musk is doing all of them at once. He has openly admitted that many of his ventures had over 90% chances of failure when they began. But to him, if the mission is important enough, it's worth the risk, even if it fails. In his words, if something is important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. What we can learn. Elon Musk's willingness to embrace enormous technological risk teaches us a few things. The future belongs to the bold. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Real innovation doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're not changing the world. Musk doesn't fear risk. He requires it, because without risk, there is no breakthrough. And without breakthrough, we're stuck with the status quo. Whether you admire him or not, it's hard to deny this. Elon Musk is not just betting on technology, he's betting on humanity's potential to do more than we thought possible. 10. The personal sacrifices of Elon Musk. What success cost him. When the world talks about Elon Musk, it usually focuses on the spectacular headlines: billion-dollar companies, rockets to Mars, electric cars changing the world, and tweets that shake global markets. But behind all of that, hidden from most public conversations, lies a quieter truth. His personal life has been deeply affected and often sacrificed in the pursuit of his mission. Musk may be the ultimate example of a person who has given nearly everything: time, energy, health, and relationships to chase something bigger than himself. Love and relationships under strain. Elon Musk has been married and divorced multiple times. His personal relationships have often suffered under the weight of his relentless work schedule and intense focus. He was first married to author Justine Musk, with whom he had 6 children, one of whom died in infancy. The couple divorced in 2008. Soon after, he married actress Tallulah Riley twice. They divorced, remarried, and divorced again. Musk later had a well-known relationship with musician Grimes, with whom he shares multiple children. Though their relationship attracted media attention and some light-hearted public moments, Musk eventually confirmed they had separated due to conflicting schedules and priorities. In interviews, Musk has been candid about his longing for deep personal connection and how difficult it is to maintain it. He once admitted, "I would rather be in love than run 5 companies." Despite this, he often finds himself alone, overwhelmed by the massive responsibilities he carries, while the world sees a powerful entrepreneur. Musk has shared that there are many nights he goes to sleep feeling lonely. No work-life balance. Work-life balance is practically non-existent for Elon Musk. He's known for working 80 to 100 hours per week, and during crises like Tesla's production hell or SpaceX's early rocket failures, that number can climb even higher. He often sleeps on the floors of factories, skips meals, and rarely takes vacations. He once said, "I don't ever want people to think I'm just sitting in an ivory tower I live in. The factories, I sleep there." His intense work ethic may inspire some, but it has also come at the cost of spending quality time with his family, friends, and partners. In a world that often celebrates hustle, Musk is a living example of what extreme hustle really looks like and what it can cost: the loneliness of leadership. Being the leader of multiple revolutionary companies means carrying enormous mental weight. Very few people truly understand the kind of pressure Musk deals with daily. Thousands of employees, billions of dollars at stake, government scrutiny, relentless deadlines, and global expectations. Musk once said, "The reality is great highs, terrible lows, and unrelenting stress." Even when he wins, the victories are often short-lived, and the next challenge is already knocking. He has described his role not as glamorous, but as emotionally exhausting, especially during times when he was attacked by media, targeted by short sellers, and sued by regulatory agencies. Success at this level is incredibly lonely, missing moments with his children. Despite being a father to 10 children, Musk has publicly acknowledged that he hasn't always been present as much as he'd like. In interviews, he's mentioned the guilt of missing birthdays or important family moments due to work emergencies or travel. He has tried to involve his children in his world, letting them visit factories, showing them rockets, and talking about the future, but even so, his time is extremely limited, and his role as a parent has sometimes had to take a back seat to the roles of CEO, engineer, and innovator. This is a reality that many high-performing people face, and Musk's story underscores just how complicated that trade-off can be. Emotional and mental struggles. Beyond the logistical sacrifices, Musk has also dealt with emotional and mental tolls. He's spoken openly about depression, burnout, anxiety, and the emotional cost of carrying so much responsibility. During one particularly difficult stretch in 2018, he said, "There were times I didn't leave the factory for days. I'd sleep under my desk. I had no time for anything else, not friends, not family, not even myself." Though he is often portrayed as cold or robotic in the media, the truth is that Musk feels deeply. He just chooses to put mission over emotion, a choice that has brought him global impact, but also quiet suffering. Why he still chooses the mission. Despite all these personal sacrifices, Musk continues to press forward. Why? Because in his mind, the mission is worth it. Solving climate change, advancing space exploration, and redefining human progress. These aren't just business ventures for him. They are moral imperatives. He once said, "I'm trying to do good things. I'm not trying to be the CEO of multiple companies. I'm trying to make the future better." That's what keeps him going. That's why he accepts the loneliness. That's why he risks his relationships. Time and comfort, because he sees the bigger picture and believes it's worth the price. The hidden side of success. Elon Musk's story reminds us that behind every world-changing idea is a human being making very real, very painful sacrifices. Success isn't just about money or fame, it's about what you're willing to give up. Big dreams come with big costs, and sometimes to build the future, you have to leave parts of the present behind. Whether you agree with Musk's methods or not, one thing is clear. His success didn't come for free. It came at the cost of quiet moments, loving connections, and personal peace. And yet he keeps going, not for himself, but for the future he believes in.